Hey guys, welcome back. It is week number 4 in the month of faithfulness, also known as September. And I do want to give a quick reminder that if you have not watched the first 3 weeks of this month of September, please go back and do that because we're talking about faithfulness as a character trait. And in week 1, we gave definitions. In week 2, we talked about the object of faith because in order to have faith, there has to be an object to have that faith in. And then last week we talked about several contradictions and several confusions about what it means to actually have faith in God and all of those contradictory verses. So this week number 4 will make much more sense if you go back and watch the first 3 in order and then come back and join us here. So this week in week 4 we are finally talking about the mindset of faithfulness, what it looks like to actually exhibit faith in action and what that actually means. Because as we have been discussing all month, this is not just a bunch of foo-foo, it's not just a bunch of fairy tales, this is hardcore life that we're talking about, right? And so we're finally going to look at the mindset of what it is to have faithfulness as a character trait. So we're going to start off with a verse that is a bit controversial in my mind because I believe that it's often misquoted or taken out of context or used in a way to either prove or disprove a situation of whether or not we think that God is for us or against us, depending on the outcome of what it is that we are asking or praying for. So that verse is Romans 8:28. And I have it here, and it says, we know that God works all things together for the good, for the ones who love God, for those who he has called according to his purpose. Now, there's a lot of stuff in there, and we could probably talk for an entire hour just on that one verse alone and unpack all the stuff. For purposes here, I'm just going to key in on one phrase of this, and it's this all thing. We know that God works together all things for the good. Now, if you remember last month in the month of goodness, we talked about the fact that our definition of good is completely different than God's definition of good. What we think is good is not his definition, what he thinks is good. And that's why we have a hard time subscribing goodness to God, because we don't understand his definition of goodness. And you can go back and check those out. But this month is the same thing. This definition of all things. Our definition of all things is different than his. So oftentimes, I drew this little map on here for you again. So if you're ever walking down a downtown area where there's a lot of high-rise buildings, you can think of that as any type of problem that we have. And when we're walking down the street, all we see is big buildings and we can't see anything else. We can't see around the building, we can't see behind it and for it, we can't see the other streets on how to get out of the downtown area, right? Everything just looks so big and so tall, and that's what it feels like when we are in the middle of a problem. When we want somebody to be healed from cancer, or we're praying about our job, or praying about a relationship that we're having, whatever it is, when we're on that street level, it just seems ginormous and we cannot see anything else. And so what we do is we pray for comfort or relief in that situation. We want the situation to end. We want it to be over. We want it to have an outcome that will make us comfortable. You know, we want people to be healed. We want the money, the finances to be there, the kids to be okay, the job to increase and grow and bring us financial success. Those are our definitions of all things. And so when we pray, we know that God works all things, right? So in our mind, we're looking at the comfort factor. We're looking to be relieved. We're looking at moving ahead in life. Now, God, his definition of all things is opposite of ours. He is much more concerned about our character development. And when he, let me stand on this side. And so when he looks at the earth or looks at us and our problems or situations, it's kind of as if we get into a helicopter and then we move up above to the 10,000 foot level or in an airplane. And when we're taking off, the buildings disappear, the people disappear, and then we can see the big picture. That's how God sees our life. We're born and we die and we see this all the time. We just see this like the street level view and we think that that's the big mountain in front of us, and he's looking at it this. This is what he sees. He sees the whole picture, and so he's not necessarily interested in that one thing right at the moment to bring us comfort. Nowhere in the Bible does it say, I came to bring you comfort. It doesn't say that. He is all through the Bible. We see that God is working on our character. We're here on earth to love God, love people, and develop our character in the process. So this verse actually is about developing our character, and that's not what we want to hear. Because when I say I want all things to work together, I want this person to behave, I want this person to stop doing what they're doing, I want the pressures at work to be relieved, I want the family situation to be relieved, I want the finances to be relieved. That's not what God is saying. He's saying I can relieve those in you, but it's going to be relieved through your character development, through setting boundaries, through setting no, through learning about life and asking for wisdom. So what does it mean then to have faithfulness as a character trait? It looks like this. There are over 7,000 promises in the Bible. And instead of saying, don't leave me, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my time. Instead of saying, I don't know if God is there, I don't know where God is, it doesn't feel like he's there, instead say thank you. Thank you that you never leave me. Thank you that you will never forsake me. In Deuteronomy 31:6, it says, be strong and of good courage. Do not fear, for I will never leave you nor forsake you. So the faithfulness as a character trait looks like, thank you for being here, even if we don't feel it. I know that you're here. I don't feel you right now, but I know that you're here. I know you haven't left me. I know you haven't forgotten about me. That's speaking faith as a character trait. Earthly decisions. There are millions. We don't make millions of decisions every day, but millions of decisions are being made every day. We make hundreds of decisions every day personally. So leave the decision up to God. That's what it looks like. Faithfulness as a character trait. So what does that mean, leave the decision up to God? We see in Acts 1:21 through 26, where the disciples sit down after Judas hung himself and he died. They had to pick another person to fill out those 12 apostles, right? And so they prayed, Lord, you know everybody's hearts. You know the character of everybody, we don't. You can see everybody, we don't. You can see the situations that we're going to be up against, we can't. Therefore, you pick the person that you want to be as that other member of the 12 apostles. So they prayed that prayer, Lord, you know, right? And so then they cast lots, they voted, and when they looked at all the results of the voting, there was a unanimous decision to pick Matthias. So it's not saying that when we leave the decision up to God, we're not saying that we just sit here and wait and say what he is. I picture it in my mind as there's 3 doors in front of me. So I say, Lord, I really want this, but I don't know if it's good for me. I don't know if I should be moving forward in this. And if I should be there's like 3 different ways that I can go. So Lord, I'm going to ask you, lock all the doors that they're going to cause me confusion or going to cause me chaos or going to cause me to go off course. Just lock them. And then unlock the door that will be of benefit and the way that I should go, right? So then I'm going to go up to all 3 doors and I'm going to try each lock and I'm going to go through the one. The ones that are locked, I might really want them. I might really want to take that class, or I might really want to buy that thing, or I really might want that particular job, but it might not be good for me. But because God can see everything and can see my future, I'm going to let him decide. And I'm going to be okay with not getting what I want if it's not good for me, because I don't know. So you try all the doors. So we're moving in action, right? We're not just standing still. We're moving forward, trying all the doors. And we pray, Lord, you lock the doors and open the doors, whichever one I should go through. The last one is to take responsibility for our decisions. That's also an act of faithfulness, because oftentimes we say, oh God, why are you doing this to me? Why are you giving this? A lot of times he's not. We put stuff on our plate and then we complain that it's too hard. So we have to take responsibility. Lord, I put this on my plate. Give me wisdom. Show me what you want me to learn. Teach me your ways. Teach me how to handle this with dignity and wisdom. I am out of time. I might make a supplement video, but in the meantime, we'll see you next month. Take care, guys.